Welcome to my very first live stream in which I'm going to reveal my top baseball picks for today, Wednesday, March 10. First of all, give me just 1 minute to say thank you to many of you. First of all, thanks for showing up for this live stream. I know you all have busy lives, and you taking some time out of your day to listen to my picks, I'm really grateful. Also, it's quite funny that I'm making this first live stream just 1 day after hitting the 25,000 subscriber mark. That's quite amazing. I remember not that long ago being excited about having 1,000 subscribers, and now we have 25,000. I really wish I could thank every single one of you. Also, I want to say a special thank you to our friend Arthur Mead, who was the very first one to buy what YouTube calls a super thanks, which is a new feature in YouTube where viewers can thank creators for their content. And I activated this feature yesterday, and he was really quick to send me to buy a super thanks. It's kind of a tip that you can give to creators. So thank you, Arthur. I think I saw you in the chat. Oh my God, lots of people are making comments. I'm seeing some familiar names like Larry Kelly, my man. He's probably he would be the president of my fan club for sure if I had one. I'm seeing Pocket Aces, Drake Gonzalez, Nemo. Well, thanks to all of you. Is the sound okay for everyone? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me just fine, since this is my first live stream. I hope there won't be any problems during the live stream. Okay, sound is great, says Earl. All right, that's great. Now, I want to mention something else. In this live stream, I'm going to give you a mystery bonus gift. I'm not going to reveal right now what this gift is or when I'm going to reveal it, but stay tuned for the entire live stream because I've got a great gift for you. Oh, hello from Ukraine, Eagle of Sports. By the way, my grandfather is from Ukraine, so special hello to Eagles of Sports. Now, feel free to comment or ask questions in the chat. Now, I'll try to take a look at the questions in the chat at the same time, but since this is my first live stream, this is a lot to manage for me. Like, I'm not used to the OBS software yet. I'm going to do my very best to make it a good experience for you. All right. Salut Eric Beausoleil. Okay, now let's go. First of all, let's recap yesterday, which was a great night for us. I had 2 official picks. We took the Rockies as big underdogs in Pittsburgh, and they won the game 10-1. Remember, I said how both teams had inexperienced pitchers on the mound, and to me, that was a good spot to take a big underdog because anything could happen, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. We also took the Yankees as big favorites against Oakland. The odds were very low. I rarely bet odds that are lower than -200. But to me, that was like free money. I really expected the Yankees to be pumped with Aaron Judge being back and so on. I also had a lean on the Dodgers. I wish I pulled the trigger personally. Maybe some of you bet the Dodgers. They beat the Brewers. And there were 2 more system picks that I did not like enough to bet, so I just avoided them. Hopefully, some of you had more guts than I did, because one of my systems recommended to bet the Reds at +172 odds against the Mets. They won that game, I believe 7-6. And we also had a system pick on the Phillies against the Blue Jays, and they also won. So basically, the system picks had a perfect 5-0 record. But for my official record, we had a 2-0 record since I only took the Rockies and the Yankees. All right, so let's get started with today's picks. It's quite unusual. Usually I have like between 5 and 8 system picks per day, and I only present 4 or 5 in my YouTube videos. And today, strangely enough, my betting systems only recommend to bet 3 teams, which is a low number. So let's take a look at them. We have 2 that are supported by the hot bats #1 betting strategy. Let's remember what this system is about. It says to fade the home team if they won their past 2 games by scoring 6+ runs in each of those victories. There's also another criterion, but for today we will only need the first one that I just mentioned. So basically all you have to do is look at the home teams, see which ones have won their past 2 games, and then you need to verify if they scored many runs in those 2 latest victories. Now, let's take a look. We have the Yankees who are at home, and they won their past 2 games. So if you go to, I like to go at ESPN.com, their last 2 games, they won 10-5 and 7-2. So they are at home today. And they did score at least 6 runs in each of those victories. They scored 10 and 7. So according to the hot bat system, we need to bet the Oakland A's at plus 200 odds. Now, do I want to make it an official pick, a lean, or should we avoid it? Well, I can tell you right now that my decision is to avoid it. I already mentioned yesterday how I like the Yankees because of how unsuccessful the A's are at Yankee Stadium. Over the past 52 games at Yankee Stadium, they have a 17-35 record, which is extremely bad. Sorry. Also, the Yankees are still in last place of their division, so they are not going to take the A's lightly. They will be motivated. As I said earlier, Aaron Judge is back. Now the team's offense is back on track. They've scored 24 runs in their past 3 games. So it seems like the Yankees are on a roll. So I would not feel comfortable at all betting Oakland. To me, this is clearly a game to avoid. Also, Oakland is starting Kyle Muller, who has been very bad. He has a 6.62 ERA and a 1.94 whip statistic. Now, if you've been following my videos, you know that I talk often about the whip statistic, which means the walks plus hits per innings pitched. Now, you may be wondering, all right, but what's the typical whip statistic for a pitcher? So let me give you some guidelines about that if you are not so familiar with this stat. So the average whip statistic for many pitchers across many years is 1.30. Now, if a pitcher has a whip statistic below 1.10, that's extremely good. And if it's above 1.5, that's very bad. So above 1.5 is bad, and Muller's whip stat is 1.94, which is abysmal, really. Now he's facing Johnny Brito, who has a whip stat of 1.46. He's obviously not that great either, but the Yankees lineup is just much better. Brito had 2 good outings to start the season, but then things started to unravel a little bit. But still, there's no way I'm going to put money on the A's. In fact, if you forced me to bet this game, I would go with the Yankees at minus 220 odds. Because that means that this is a good value wager if you believe the Yankees have a 68% chance of winning or more. And in my opinion, they do have a 68% chance of winning or more. So if forced to bet, I would go with the Yankees, but I'm simply not going to bet. All right. Let's see, before I move on to the second pick, let's see some comments. Yes, we did reach 25K subscribers. I see someone saying he bet the Yankees with the run line minus 1.5. You know what? I'm not against this bet. If you want to bet the Yankees, that looks fine to me. Sorry. All right, now we have another team that fits the hot bat system. Let me show to you. If you look at the Phillies, they are indeed at home. They have won their past 2 games by scoring 8 and 6 runs. So it fits all the criterion I described earlier. And according to the hot bat system, we need to fade the Phillies. And for that reason, pick number 2 goes to the Blue Jays at minus 104 odds. So this is basically a pick'em game. Okay, now in this case, do I want to make it a pick, a lean, or do I want to avoid it? Well, the decision is to make it an official pick. I shared this play at 9:30 a.m. this morning. Well, the sorry about all that coughing. All right, so the Blue Jays, they've had some success in Philadelphia. They have a 14 and 6 record in their last 20 visits there. Also, well, as I'm going to mention in a few seconds, in my opinion, both pitchers are about of equal strength, but Toronto's lineup is much better. The Blue Jays have a run differential of plus 16, while Philly is minus 25. Now, we have 2 very good pitchers on the mound, Kevin Gausman against Zach Wheeler. Gausman has allowed 0 earned run in 4 of his 7 starts this year. Now, he is coming off a very rough outing in which he allowed 8 runs to the Red Sox. And strangely enough, Zach Wheeler is also coming off a bad game in which he was pretty bad against the Red Sox as well. He allowed 5 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Also, I wanted to mention how Zach Wheeler has struggled against the Blue Jays, historically speaking. In 4 career starts, he has an 0-2 record, along with a very bad 6.63 ERA. So, based on all of those reasons, I am going to take the Blue Jays officially today. All right, now I said at the beginning that there would be a mystery bonus gift for you, and it's time for that bonus gift, which concerns a NHL pick for tonight. And this pick is backed on a big statistical analysis that I did that I called How to Bet the NHL Playoffs. I have released a video that basically gives you a lot of sound strategies on how to approach the NHL postseason from a betting perspective. And by the way, let me show you my screen. This is an Excel file where I track all my bets, and this spreadsheet concerns my NHL picks this season. And below that line are the postseason picks. And we have an incredible 18 and 7 record in the playoffs in the NHL, and that's after a great regular season. If you combine the season and the playoffs, we've had a 145 and 108 record at average odds 1.90, which is minus 111 in American format. So we've made a ton of profit, including in the playoffs. And my top pick for today goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I really believe they are going to avoid the sweep tonight in Florida. And that also fits my How to Bet the NHL Playoffs video and article, because I've shown that in previous seasons, betting teams that are down 0-3 in the series has been a good value wager. And that's the case of the Leafs. I know their goalie Ilya Samsonov is out, but still I like Toronto to win this game. So that was my bonus gift for you today, and you can thank me later when the Leafs win this game. All right, the third system pick in baseball is backed by the blowout #1 system that is quite simple to follow. It recommends to bet a team that won its previous game by a margin of 8+ runs if they are facing the same opponent as yesterday. All right, so let's take a look at what happened yesterday. The Rockies won 10-1 against the Pirates. We all remember that game vividly since that was our big upset special from yesterday and they crushed the Pirates. All right, so since Colorado won by a 9-run margin and they are facing the Pirates again, then by virtue of the blowout #1 system, we should be betting the Rockies again. Let me show you the money line. Well, it has actually dropped since I shared the pick earlier this morning at 9:30. I placed my bet at plus 138 odds, but right now the money line is more around plus 120 or plus 125. And I'm making it an official pick for many reasons. So first of all, Colorado has done great recently. Over their past 8 games, they have a 6-2 record, and that is despite facing some strong teams. They have faced the Brewers, the Mets, and now the Pirates. So that is outstanding. Meanwhile, the Pirates started the season with a 20-8 record, which was a big surprise. And I was waiting for them to show some signs of weakness before starting to fade them. So after they lost 2 straight games, I said on air in many videos that I expected them to go in a very bad slump. And we really took advantage of that during the past week. Because since then, they had a 1-8 record. And I saw an incredible stat. So over those 9 games, they have scored just 12 runs. 12 runs in 9 games. So that's an average of 1.3 per game. That's incredible. All right, now on the mound for the Rockies, we have Antonio Senzatella, who has pitched in only 1 game because he was coming back from an ACL injury that he suffered last August, and he was great. He allowed just 1 earned run and just 3 hits in 5 innings at the Mets. So this was a tough Mets lineup, and he only allowed 1 run in 5 innings. Now, in his career, he has been an okay pitcher. He's not great, he's not bad, so he's a decent pitcher. And for Pittsburgh on the mound, they will have Rich Hill, who is 43 years old. I've talked about him a few times in previous videos. You know, I am personally 44 years old, and I have noticed how I play softball, and my quality of play has been declining quite a bit in the past 3-4 seasons. So I can relate to being more than 40 years old. So I expect Rich Hill to have a tough season. But I have to admit that he's been better than expected so far. He has allowed more than 3 runs in 2 out of his 7 starts. But he still owns a 4.54 ERA, which is not that great, and a 1.46 whip statistic. Remember earlier I said that above 1.50, that's pretty bad. Now he's at 1.46, which is quite close. So these pitchers are about of same quality, I would argue. I even trust more Senzatella, and we are getting some nice positive odds. The Rockies have momentum. So I think it's worth taking a shot once again on the Rockies today. And that's what I'm going to do. All right, let's see some comments. If you're okay, I'm going to discuss a few more games just as a bonus gift for you because my systems are done. They are recommending just 3 bets today. I see Washington Silva asking, Professor, what about doing a parlay with your picks? Oh, so many of you will know in advance what my answer will be. Thanks for asking this question, by the way. No, I do not recommend betting them in a parlay. You should definitely play them as straight bets. I've made a video called Stop Doing Parlays that shows the math behind parlay bets. The sports books really love you when you make parlay bets because they take a big commission out of those bets. If you only make parlay bets, you basically have no chance of being a winner in the long run. You really need to make straight bets all the time. So I invite all of you to take a look at this very insightful video called Stop Doing Parlays. It will show you how bad and how detrimental to your bankroll those bets are. I see Jimmy Kuya from Pennsylvania, if I remember correctly. He says, Professor MJ is number one. No, you are number one. Thank you for commenting so often. It's like Christmas with all these gifts, says Earl. Yeah, you're right. This is like Christmas. Oh, someone is taking the Rockies with the -1.5 run line. That's great. Oh boy, one guy put $1,000 on my 3 picks. All right. Okay, so I want to say a few words about 3 more games that caught my eye. I'm not saying they are great bets. They're not supported by any of my betting systems. But at first sight, I think they might be worth taking a shot. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide. So first, we have Washington playing in San Francisco. The last time I checked, the money line was about +130 on Washington and -150 on the Giants. In this game, I like Washington to pull off the upset. They are 6-4 in their past 10 games, which is quite decent. Now on the mound, they have Josiah Gray, who has a 2-5 record. But I read somewhere that in all of his 5 losses, his offense scored 1 run or less. So he basically had no run support. Because his numbers are not that bad. He has a 3.03 ERA, which is really good. And meanwhile, he's facing Sean Manaea, who has a nightmarish start to the season with a 7.33 ERA. What the heck is going on with this guy? He has a whip statistic of 1.63, which is awful as well. He got his first win in his last outing, but he still allowed 4 runs. If I go back to Josiah Gray, he's only 25 years old. He's young. He's a promising pitcher. He has allowed 3 runs or less in all of his starts, except the very first start against the Braves. And they have a tough lineup. So to me, it's really worth taking a shot on the Nationals. They are an unpopular team among the general public. So you may want to consider them in this spot. And the Giants are not that great of a team either. Another game that caught my eye, I'm going to mention 2 more for you because it's like Christmas, like our friend Earl said. Houston at the Angels. The best odds I saw on Houston was -125, and I believe this is a good value wager. I mean, the pitching matchup is just great in favor of the Astros. I'm quite surprised that Houston is not favored by more than that. They have Christian Javier on the mound, who has a whip statistic of 1.06, which is elite. And also, he's been good in all 4 of his seasons this year. So he's really a very reliable option. I really trust this guy. And he's facing Griffin Canning, who is clearly a below-average pitcher. So I don't see much reason to back the Angels in this game. So I do have a lean on the Astros. One more that I like a bit. So the Cards are facing the Cubs. In the first game of the series, I picked the Cards as an underdog, and they did win that game. We've been very hot on underdogs recently. Now the money line on the Cubs is around -115, which is quite good to me. Because they have Justin Steele on the mound. This guy has been a machine. And we have a money line of -115 against a weak Cardinals team. Are you joking? I'm clearly taking the Cubs in this game if I was forced to bet. I know he's facing Jordan Montgomery, who has been pretty good this year. He owns a 1.22 whip stat, which is great. Also, maybe a big source of concern is how Montgomery has done in his career against the Cubs. Can you believe that he has a 0.63 ERA in his career against the Cubs in four games? That's astounding. But still, Steele has allowed 2 earned runs or less in all 7 starts. Enough said to me. We're getting a very reasonable price. I know the Cubs are struggling, but the Cards are not a great team either. So I would go with the Cubs right here. All right, so let's see if we have some question. That would pretty much be it for my picks for today, or my leans, or all the advice I have for you. Drake Gonzalez says the A's are an avoid. Yes, clearly. John X, great question. Prof MJ, are you doing the live every week? Well, for now, this is the plan, and I'm going to try to do the live stream on days where we have lots of afternoon games, because you can get my picks earlier when I do it. So that would be at 11 a.m. most of the time on Wednesdays or Thursdays, because those are the 2 weekdays where we have more afternoon games. Maybe I should try to stick to one day to make it more regular. We'll see how it goes, but yes, I do want to do a live stream every week. I'll also see if you guys like it. Let me know in the comments if so far I've given you enough value, if you have appreciated this live stream. Brendan is asking me, ever do no run first inning or yes run first inning, Prof MJ? The answer is yes. The thing is, on YouTube, I present you my full game picks. But for those of you who are paid members at mjpicks.com, I give more picks, which usually concern the first 5 innings, and also, as you're mentioning, whether there's going to be a run in the first inning or not. Let me share my screen. Give you a quick glimpse of bets I've made. All the bets I've made at mjpicks.com. You can see here under 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings. Another first 5 innings bet. Here, no runs in the first 5 innings of Phillies Astros. So yes, I do first inning bets and also first half bets in baseball. So I hope that answers that question correctly. So Arthur Mead says, I really enjoyed the first show, Professor MJ. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you again for buying a special thanks before the live stream. I really appreciate it. Jimmy says, yes, live streams are good. Definitely a good first show, says Pocket Aces. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that it went pretty well. I was worried about some maybe hiccups that would come up since I'm not used to it yet. We have Ted Lee Piano, who was one of my winners. I believe he finished second or third in my MLB prediction contest last week. I'm going to run this contest again this year, if some of you are wondering. So you can sign up at mjpicks.com, and on that platform, I will run some free contests. Now, when you sign up, you need to decide whether you want to take the free plan, where you basically get free picks that I share on YouTube and maybe a few more, or you can buy the paid plans, so you can buy picks for 1 week or 1 month. But if you want to play the contest, you don't need to have a paid membership. Okay, it's all good if you take the free plan. And you can win cash prizes or free picks for a week or a month. Walter Carter says, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, everyone. A big thank you. So hopefully lots of people will watch it in replay as well. One guy's asking to recap my picks for today. Yeah, that's a great idea. So basically, my official picks for today, there are two of them. So I'm taking the Rockies to upset the Pirates again. And I'm also taking the Blue Jays, which are pretty much at pick'em odds right now in Philadelphia. So the Rockies and the Blue Jays are my picks. We also had a system pick on the A's, but I said, no, don't take it. And I also talked about, let's call them three leans, three games that caught my eye at first sight. I would go with the Nationals as underdogs in San Francisco, and I will also pick small favorites, the Astros and the Cubs. So that's a recap. What someone, are you hiring for a cameraman, says Phil B. Well, not now, but yeah, you will have to live in Quebec City, which is where I live. All right. So drop a like for support. So that's pretty much it for today. So thank you so much for showing up today. I appreciate you. Now, as usual, I'll see you tomorrow for pre-recorded picks. But hopefully next Wednesday or next Thursday, I'll do another live stream, and it will be a pleasure to read you in the comments. All right, so I'll see you again very soon. I'm Professor MJ, a 15-year university statistics professor, saying so long.